what's up, everybody? It's Jonathan and Austin, and we're over here with our friend Shea at Frontier Title. If you've been watching along, we've been on a title series on this journey of figuring out everything title. We talked about what is title, what is the role of the title company, and so we're here to do a new segment with Shea.
Yeah, we're going to be diving in a little deeper, a little more granular on the things that actually affect your real estate transaction. And you might have heard these terms before and had no idea what they are, so Shea's going to break it down for us today. So right out of the gate, we want to talk about what is a title commitment. That's a big piece of the transaction and something that I feel like a lot of us don't really fully understand.
Yes, that's right. So the title commitment, once you are under contract with us to purchase a house or refinance a house, we open title and we do research on the property. So we're going through and researching the history of the property, any liens on the property. We're also searching the names of the owners of the property and any predecessors and titles, that'd be people who owned it prior to you. So we do a full search of the property and the people involved, and then we issue what's called a title commitment. So when you get your title commitment, we send it to you through email, and we'll kind of try to highlight what the key points are to you in our email. But just to kind of go through exactly what is the title commitment, so when you're looking at it on your own or going over it with your clients, you kind of understand a little bit more about what you're looking at and what's important and what really needs to happen to get us to the closing table.
Awesome.
Boom.
So a title commitment is a pretty big document, multiple pieces of that document.
Yes, we call them schedules. So when we explain it, an easy way to explain it, we call it the ABCs of title. So your title commitment has 4 schedules: Schedule A, Schedule B, Schedule C, and Schedule D. That's what they are labeled at the top of the title commitment on each page, so you can kind of follow through. So we're just going to go through each schedule and explain what you're looking at and what's important to you.
Boom.
Do it.
Okay, the ABCs, All right, so Schedule A, break this down for us. What does Schedule A tell us?
So Schedule A, we call it actual facts, and it's usually just a one-page, first page of the title commitment, and it shows exactly that, the actual facts of the transaction. So that's pulling numbers and names directly from the contract and from our title search. So it's going to show our proposed borrowers, if there's a lender involved. If you're working with these guys, there will be. So it's going to show the buyers as the borrowers on the transaction, because we're going to be issuing a lender's title policy for those borrowers to network funding. And then we have the buyers for the owner's title policy. That's the title policy that ensures the buyer of the property. It also shows the vested owner. So that's the sellers. If we did everything right, that's the seller of the property. If it doesn't match up, that's our first thing we've got to address. Why does the vested owner that we find in title not match what your seller is on your contract? And it's also going to show the legal description of the property. So when you are insuring title, we are insuring based on the legal description. That's the lot and block. Sometimes it's a long meets and bounds description, but that's describing exactly where the property is located and the boundaries of it. So those are actual facts that we found in our title search and pulled from the contract.
So it's the actual facts of the current owner and the current property that is being transferred. And then it's also the details about everybody that's involved in the purchase and the acquisition of it. So you've got the departing people, you've got the acquiring people, and the entity itself.
Right. Because it's the title commitment, it's not the actual title policy. That's issued after closing, so it's going to refer to you as a proposed borrower and a proposed buyer, the proposed insured on both the owner's and lender's policy. It's also going to show the sales price, because the owner's title policy is going to insure up to the sales price of the home, and then the lender's policy is going to insure the loan amount of the property.
Brilliant. Okay, buyer beware.
Okay, so the next part of the commitment is Schedule B, buyer beware. It's buyer be aware. So it's really going to show things that we found that are attached to the things that are going to be attached to the property. Main thing you're going to see here are deed restrictions. So if you're buying a property that's in an HOA, it's not going to list out these are all of your restrictions. But what it is going to pull is all the recording numbers with the county that reference the documents that the HOA formed to establish their rules and regulations. So it's going to list all of that. Any minerals, easements, things like that, all that's going to be listed on Schedule B. So that's why it says buyer be aware, because you just want to know what you're buying. You want to know what your restrictions are. Like if you're trying to buy a property and open an office and you want to use it for commercial space, but but the property is restricted to residential use, that's something you're gonna look in Schedule B to find. So when you get your Schedule B, if you need more information, because like I said, it's just gonna list documents that are filed with the county. You don't need to go pull all of those documents. They are a public record, you could, but we have that all on file. So just say, hey Shea, I really wanna see what these deed restrictions are, and we can send that to you. So you're just looking for all that and making sure that there's nothing that contradicts what you're trying to do with this purchase.
So this is going to always cover whatever is in the deed restrictions. If there are deed restrictions, that whole chunk is going to be in there.
It'll list all the documents. So if you're like a big subdivision, single ranch, they have thousands of pages of deed restrictions. So it's got a long list
What
of
colors
things filed.
and
Yeah,
what stone you can use, all that fun stuff.
all of that is in there.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Cool.